What's up, YouTube? First and foremost, shout out Alien Army. Raise up, stand up, hit a like button, and definitely drop a comment. If this is the first time you are watching one of my videos, Alien Army are people that rock with me heavy, they rock with me tough by always hitting the like button and dropping a comment and being subscribed. If you don't know what to put as a comment, an Ellie emoji, a thumbs up, anything like that, type UFO, put a spaceship. I understand that, in my opinion, people dropping comments on big channels, asking questions, should know you're wasting a comment because they're never going to respond. I respond to 99.9% of my comments. I know that I'm a small channel, so it does make things easier. However, I do have a system, if my channel ever gets big, that, if you take the time to write something, I'm going to take the time to read it and respond at least 99.9% of the time. If you don't know, I am homeless. I've been living in my car for a very long time. Right now I'm in a hotel. You might have to watch, this is the first time I'm watching one of my videos, you may have to watch a couple of videos in the back to get the full story. This hotel is not my house. I only got a couple more days in it, so bear with me. Gonna jump straight into this video. Shout out to the donations. If anybody wants to show me love or bless me, my Cash App's the same as my YouTube name, AlienAscend. I'll put that in the description. Also, if anybody wants to send me any private messages that they don't want as a comment, or, reach out to me, that'll be in the description as well. That email is called alienarmycontact at gmail.com. Thought that it was a cool name. Would have loved it for it to be Alien Army, but that was taken. But Alien Army Contact, and I thought Alien Contact would be cool too, but that was taken as well. I'm gonna jump straight into this video. Working homeless jobs I had. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the jobs I've had while I was homeless, and then I'm gonna go down the list and talk about all my jobs, and I'm gonna talk, not just say the names of them and what I did, but I'm gonna talk about experiences as they pop in my head. I do everything raw, but I did write down everything that because I've had a lot of different jobs, and I try to do it in a chronological order. So the jobs that I've been doing first, not first, but the ones I've been doing homeless, and then go back, All right, so what I've been doing, homeless, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Uber, and Walmart Spark. Those are the ones that I made money on. I'm gonna talk a little bit about it. DoorDash was halfway decent for quite some time. They, depends on the market and stuff like that. I didn't expect from things to cost so much living in my car, especially during the winter time and summer. I got hit pretty hard in the winter where I had to idle my car all night. So we're talking at a lot, and gas prices were up a whole lot. Money that I thought that I could save, I thought I could at least save $600 a month. No, that went through the window running my car. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, in winter it was -10, -7, -4, single digits. Anything single digits was dramatic. But you could watch my other videos. I got almost 200 videos, I think. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about a little bit. Like I said, DoorDash was halfway decent. Uber Eats as well. I used to run both those apps at the same time, see what I can get. Everything got really saturated and very, very hard, especially towards the end. I am skeptical about going to certain hot markets, like let's say, for example, if you work really, really downtown and the way that people drive, I was living in my car. Do I want to be around people that will hit me? Those things played in my mind. I know that the market says you can make $20 an hour doing this. However, if there's a bunch of people that drive like yahoos, what's the point if they hit my car where I live? I'm going to be basically in a world of crap. So I would go ahead and try to stay in areas where maybe the money wasn't as good, but the drivers weren't bad or as bad or as dangerous as that. Walmart Spark was halfway decent. You could basically order once an hour. There was never, I understand some markets you can get first come first serves. What sucks about that is let's say that and this happened a lot of times, is you can order for $7. Okay, you're not going to be able to make anything next hour. You know what I mean? And you're not guaranteed an order that hour or not. So I would turn it on sometimes. So I'm going to talk about the stuff that made money. I did sign up for all gig apps, like from Roadie to TaskRabbit and stuff like that. I'm going to talk about the ones that I actually made money with. Okay. While that's going on, so this is all when I'm homeless. I have videos showing and documenting this as well. When things were really slow, I would approach people inside Lowe's and Home Depot, and what I would do is I'd be walking around, I'd have my apps up on my phone just in case, and I'm walking around the store, and let's say I see a man and a woman, they're buying drywall, they're buying sheets, and it looks like they're going to be doing a repair. I walk up to them and I did just this, and I got showers out of it. It's not just what I got paid for doing the work. I got showers out of it, and I had a place to charge my phone as running my car, and things like that. And then it would turn into other jobs too. So I'll jump into it. I would approach them and I'd be like, "Oh, looks like you got a drywall." I'm just gonna freestyle what I would say. I'd see somebody with some drywall in the cart. I walk up to them and I go ahead and say, "Oh, looks like you got a drywall job, man. What are you doing? You're doing your basement, you're doing your attic, you're doing your bedroom, something like that." And they're like, "Yeah, they tell me their story, and then I tell them straight up, like, I'd be happy to help you, man. I actually am living in my car. I do gig apps, and it's really slow right now. I'm trying to earn extra money. Whatever you could afford, I'd be willing to do." And I had some success. And of course, I did that, and people go, "I don't know," or no, this is my project. They either say yes or no, basically, right? If they did say yes, what I would do is I would never go to a stranger's house without letting people know. So I don't get in the car with strangers. I drive myself. I get the address before going. I tell my friends where I'm going to be at, so in case something should happen. And I also would take a picture of their address when I got there, or take a picture of like the outside of their house, maybe even their license plates, their vehicles, something. It's not like I'm taking a picture and doing something with it. I'm just doing this to be safe on my side. Take a picture of that stuff, send it to my friends, so they somebody could watch after me. You know what I mean? A lot of those jobs turned into other jobs. Let's say, for example, I did do a drywall job. Well, after drywall, what do? You got to texture the walls. I know how to texture walls. Texture the walls. Oh, after you texture the drywall, what goes next? Of course, you got to sand it and stuff like that. But you go ahead and paint it. Primer it first, then paint it. Okay, their basement needs to be reorganized. Their garage needs to be reorganized. They need yard work. So once I got my foot in the door, I would be, I try to make them feel comfortable with the amount of work that I did and what I did. I did a good job, more than a good job. I did a great job, whatever it is. Did a great job, and then I would see, is there more potential work here? If there's more potential work here, then great. I've had it where some of them were like, "Hey, you can text and take showers here. Let us know. Or if you're ever in a bad situation, let us know." Those aren't like friends. I mean, like, what I mean by that, they're not like friends. Like, if you reach out to them afterwards and after you've done a couple jobs, like, I'm not going to keep begging somebody in a text message, or if they don't answer my call, if they don't get back to me, it is what it is. They've already paid me for the work. They were being kind. That's another thing too. I don't accept food that's open. So there were several times when they're like, "Hey, we're making lunch, or we're gonna be going to go get fast food. Do you want anything?" I'd always say no, because I don't know what they could put in there, and a lot of homeless people are like that. We do not like to accept anything that's open. Would I accept cans of food? Sure, but if it's a hamburger that you could just unwrap and do something to it, then no. There are some people that are that starving that they don't care, or they will judge the character and get it. Me, I want to be careful. I want to be safe. The last thing I want to do is have something in there and then, like it be a Diddy party or something, you know what I'm saying, where I black out and it's because I ate or drank some water there, or accepted an open soda with ice in it and it have something in there. I'm too careful for that stuff, you know what I mean? Okay, next is, see here. Oh, of course, yeah, if they had yard work to do or anything like that. Okay, I also did medical transport when I was homeless. That was one of the first things. So I was doing gig apps, and I also did I call it medical transport, but I can't remember the actual name of it. That might be it. It's a 1099 position, and you go pick up prescriptions from a warehouse, and then you take them to different small medical facilities. Also with that, I would pick up samples and then take these samples from one place to the next. These things were at first they didn't tell me how many miles. They were like, "Okay, this is this should take about 5 or 6 hours to complete, and we'll pay you $100." They never knew the miles or anything like that. So out of 5 or 6 hours with driving all over the place, you start putting on 300 miles. I don't exactly remember, but I know that the money wasn't worth the wear and tear on my vehicle, especially considering that you don't have to drive 200 or 300 miles for DoorDash, Uber Eats, or Walmart Spark to make half that money. You know what I'm saying? I don't take bad orders. I take orders that are, if they were small paying but they were small miles, then yeah, but I never took regular pay for huge miles, and that's because I was living in my car and trying to baby it. You know what I mean? Well, not exactly baby it, but basically be smart. I don't need all the extra wear and tear. You know what I mean? So that didn't work out for very long. I was like, dude, I remember breaking it down with what I pay for my car note, what I pay for my insurance, what I pay for gas, what I pay for oil changes, what all that stuff, and then the miles on top of it. It didn't make sense to me. So I did that. Before that, if you're new to my channel or you've been here for a while, I did truck driving. I started off as over the road. So I should probably do it in a chronological order. So the last truck job that I had, I only lasted a week, and I was supposed to be 5 days out and home on weekends, and it was dry van. I quit that job when I got back in my car. I got back in my truck, and the ELD wasn't working, and they told me to take it to their shop, and I took it to their shop. They wanted me to run paper logs for a while. I actually have a video why I quit trucking. You can go check it out if you want. I really don't even count this job, but I did work there for a week. I never got a paycheck from them, and I'll talk about it. So they wouldn't fix the ELD. They also wouldn't fix the electricity that was inside that was supposed to run on their APU. It was either APU or EPU. Wouldn't do that as well. So I couldn't even charge my phone in there or anything. Like, nothing was drawing energy from the back of it. So I was basically screwed on that. It also was a piece of crap truck. It was a Mac. I'll never drive a Mac again, and it had no luxuries whatsoever, no power windows, nothing like that. And it was also supposed to be a full size. It wasn't. It was supposed to be a full size condo. It wasn't. It was a lightweight condo, and didn't have very much room at all. So much that if you were to put a refrigerator in there, you'd either have to take the passenger seat out, or you'd have to take a cupboard out in the back. And then if I remember correctly, that thing only had one cupboard. So it's not like I could take one cupboard out and then have another cupboard, because I could make do with that. You know what I'm saying? But it only had one cupboard. So I went up to that shop. When I went to that shop, they weren't fixing it. I was supposed to get a $1,200 sign-on bonus on my first paycheck, and they said if I sat there and waited for them to get a new ELD, that it would take 3 days, and that if I sat there and waited for those 3 days, if I remember correctly, it was 3 days or a week, whatever it was. I'm pretty sure it was 3 days. If I waited for 3 days to get the ELD, which is electric logging device, if I went ahead and did that, I would not get my $1,200 bonus. So you're telling me that I want to do the right thing, and then also their equipment was really bad. I didn't want to run on paper logs. I've already been inspected 5 times from Department of Transportation, DOT. I passed every single one of my inspections, on top of which the first thing that actually happens is if you get pulled over and they ask you, the first thing they ask is for your ELD and to send the logs over to them. Running paper logs is a huge red flag. That means they're going to go through everything, and most likely I'm going to get a ticket for something, or they're going to give me a hard time. Not even a hard time. They'll find something. They'll find something if they look that close. And it could be something as simple as, wait a minute, there's rust right here, or wait a minute, this clearance light is suddenly flickering now, and now you're going to get a ticket. You know what I mean? And I didn't want any of that stuff. I want to run hard and run correct. You know what I mean? Those rules I didn't take light at all. If you wanted to know why I quit trucking, I have a video where I explain everything, so go check that out. Before that, I ran regional, and I was home every day. I drove at nights, and I did that for a little over 6 months. Before that, I had another regional job that was over 6 months. And then before that, I went ahead and drove OTR for over a year. I also did some training. At the other jobs too, I did do some training. There was one guy in particular. He never did OTR at all. He drove trucks that was for sodas. Like a soda, and I don't want to give anybody free publicity, but picture a soda person that helped get you your CDL by agreeing to work with them, and you have about 16 stops a day to deliver sodas in stores. Those trucks, evidently, he never learned how, or maybe the way that that truck was set up. It was a commercial vehicle for him to get a CDL, but he never even learned how to slide his tandems. He also never knew how to use a navigation system. He used his phone and got himself almost underneath a bridge that was too small. These trucks are 13.6 high and 8.6 wide. He was running Google Maps, and I was like, dude, you know you're not supposed to do that, man. And I helped him out, and I ended up training him for a few days. And you know, those things happen from time to time, and it was no big deal. But I trained people, but OTR trained people as well. That brings me to OTR. But I did OTR. I was just talking about that before. OTR was trucking school. I went into trucking school with my permit already, so I already had a DOT physical. I had a permit that I already obtained at the DMV. I also had my tanker endorsement. Those were required to go before you even go to school. And the school I went to wasn't a private school; it was a mega carrier. And that after getting your CDL, your Class A, that you would then be offered a job. One of the things about that, getting your CDL from them, you have to agree to drive for them for a year, and then the CDL is free. I ended up, I did what was asked of me. Before that, I guess I should touch in on this too, is there were several people that I knew that got their CDL and got off the trainer's truck, and they never was asked that they had to pay it back. Some companies will do that, some won't. You know what I mean? The people, I knew about 3 or 4 of them that ended up quitting. One person couldn't stop shaking, and their PTSD got so crazy they didn't even last a week on the truck, and they never came after her for getting a Class A through them. Think that you should do your best to go ahead and do it, but if you find out after you got your Class A that you really can't do it, then what are you supposed to do? By the way, the government does help out trucking companies to help people get Class A's. One, because it's a very hard industry, and it's not just because it's a hard industry, but because they're trying to help build that industry up. So a lot of those mega carriers will say, no, you have to work for us because you did this. Well, the truth is they got paid by the government to for you to get the license. So like, you can't come after me for money if you're not the one who spent the money. Your dad got paid by the government to help me obtain a Class A. By the way, I still have my Class A, and I still have my DOT physical. My DOT physical, I think it's good till next year, January, February. So there's that. Before trucking, I worked in the medical field for 14 years. Same job, same position, same company. I actually worked for the state. There was a lot of stuff that I did with that particular job. I worked with people that some of them were really terminally ill, from Alzheimer's to dementia, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, people that were wheelchair bound, cancer, a lot of the real bad health issue stuff. I worked that 14 years straight, never fired, never took any time off. I never quit a job and then came back. I stayed with it for 14 years, and probably some odd months as well. I did that. That's the longest job I've ever had consecutive. On top of me staying there, hold on, I gotta adjust myself. On top of me working there and stuff like that to make ends meet, because it didn't pay very much. I mean, barely a roof over your head. Basically my whole life, paycheck to paycheck. I mean, trucking, yeah, when it was OTR, yeah, I made good money. The first regional job I had, my money used to get played with all the time, and you'll find that out in that video I told you about why I quit trucking. Yeah, when it was OTR, I made good money. I'm not gonna lie. $1,400 net a week. Was basic. It's still a little bit over 52 weeks out of a year. Some weeks 1,000, some 1,400, sometimes a little bit more, things like that. But easy come, easy go type of thing. But I don't know if it's easy come, easy go. It's life. You know what I'm saying? To step back, so when I was doing 14 years in the medical field, to make ends meet, and to actually the way I was able to afford the car that I have now, I would pick up side jobs. So for those 14 years of me working that straight, there was several times where I picked up part-time jobs and basically rode those, doing both of them at the same time, just to make it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna talk about that. I wrote them down. I worked at a winery. I drove forklifts for a while. If you put a real forklift in front of me, I'd probably mess up quite a bit. The forklifts that I did at the winery were rigged in such a way to help with their winery equipment. You know what I'm saying? They were real pieces of crap as well, but it is what it is. I did a lot of different stuff at the winery job. I worked at a bakery. Bakery is basically assembly line bakery stuff, putting muffins and things and closing the stuff, standing in the same spot for hours upon hours. And you know, I'm 6 foot tall, looking down at a small table the whole time really did hurt my neck and definitely hurt my feet standing so long. I did that. Of course, temporary jobs working at little warehouses or little, like, you know, loading and unloading trailers, stuff like that. Why I was working for those 14 years. One of the biggest jobs that I had, then the longest, it was supposed to be a part-time job, but it was actually, I put full-time hours in. So I was literally working 2 full-time jobs. That particular job in and of itself helped me to realize how I could build my credit better. Also saving all the money that I did for that, and I used that as a down payment on the vehicle that I live in, which is a 2018 Honda Civic. Before that, I drove a bucket, and it never left me stranded, but it towards the end it started having some mechanical issues. Turn signals not working, and you know, stuff like that. But I don't want to go into it. Nonetheless, I worked at that job for quite some time. It started off. I'm going to make probably a whole separate video on this, but just to give you an idea, it started off as data, and this is a work from a home position. It started off data, and it was I got hired through a friend. Like a friend introduced me to the owner. And I'm gonna make a whole video about this because there's a lot of stuff I could talk about. But nonetheless, with that, started off as data entry, then it ended up being internet media and marketing, running campaigns from PPC to every door direct mailers to graphic designs. I made several websites for this person. I ran all sorts of stuff, made the guy a lot of money. I also he was doing seminars. I would get flown out to seminars. I was making $300 a week just with that particular job, and I was putting in more than 40 hours a week with that. I remember so many times where I was only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. Or you know, like that particular job, I wasn't supposed to be bothered on the weekend, and I'd get bothered on the weekend, and then next thing I know, you know, I'm working 10 out, you know, between Saturday and Sunday. I just put in, you know, 2 12-hour days, which is 24 hours on top of everything. Okay. So before the medical field of 14 years, and before all the different side jobs that I had, let's see here, just checking my list. When you did seminars, I would teach marketing. I'm not sure if I brought that up or not. I did construction. I renovated houses and did constructions, and also painted the inside and outside of the houses. I also did construction where I actually built an outdoor mall, and that was like from a totally different company. I did painting with a different company as well. We did interior and exterior houses. I'm not good on roofs, so like going on a roof, I've slipped and fell off of like 3 of them. So with those kind of jobs, I don't mind getting up on a high ladder and painting like a facial board and stuff like that. But once my feet actually start touching shingles, and let's say it was an incline or a decline on there, I don't have that kind of balance up there, unfortunately. So that was the one drawback. So I would always tell the bosses, I'm good until you ask me to go on a roof. I've fallen off of them like 3 times. One time I fell off, and when I fell off, there was like these pillars that were like going along the walkway. They're concrete. They were either concrete or what is that stuff called? Like stucco or sheetrock. It was either sheetrock or concrete. And when I fell, half my back hit it and half my head hit it, and it almost knocked me out. And the owner of the company was right there, and I got up, and he's like, "Dude, are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And that was the last time I fell off a roof, if I remember correctly. I was like, "Yeah, don't ask me to go up there anymore. I'll hold a ladder for somebody to do it." But yeah, that's one of my drawbacks, because somebody could say, "Hey, if you know how to paint interior and exterior, that's a pretty damn good job to have when you're living on a car or living on the streets." A lot of places, they want you to go on the roofs, and they won't be understanding that I can go ahead and cut in really, really good. That I know how to use a spray gun, and I know how to use rollers, and I know how to paint something. I know that when you're painting, you go from ceiling all the way to the bottom. When you're building a house, it's from the bottom all the way up. There's a lot of stuff that I'm really, really good at. However, some people will not accept that you're not good at one thing. Like, it's all or nothing. Like, if I told them I can't go on the roofs, but I'll do everything else, they're like, I'll just get a different painter. Never mind that I can cut in really, really well. Never mind that I work quick. Never mind that when you're a painter, you should barely have any paint on your clothes. That shows how good you are. If you're a painter and you have paint everywhere, then people know that you're a painter, right? But when you're a painter and you've been painting all day or all week and you barely have any paint on your clothes, that means that the paint got everywhere that it was supposed to. It shouldn't be getting on. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Working at different warehouses, cardboard balers, literally unloading and loading trailers. And then I've had different warehouse jobs where I'm just taking cardboard all day and throwing it in a baler, and that basically it shreds up the cardboard and makes these big old bricks. And then you run wires, you run the machinery doing that. I've had lots and lots of jobs like that. I've had jobs where there were temp jobs that were, it was literally, you go to Old Navy and unpack all these boxes of pans and stuff like that, holding signs, for a day or two, for a week, holding signs saying, vote for so and so, or great deal on pizzas here, all that kind of stuff. And then of course, let's see here. I worked at a warehouse where it was all about computer stuff. I was actually hired, and so I do want to touch on the story. I was hired to literally put computers inside boxes, and then they actually had a section off in the far back, and I left that section within 10 minutes of them telling me to do that, and I started. I plugged in a mouse and I started fixing these computers. They had 2 rows of 75, so a total of 150 computers, and they were hooked up to 3 different servers. At the time, they were installing an operating system, which was Windows XP, and they were doing that. And some of the systems had failed to properly install Windows XP. And I just plugged in a mouse, and because I've always been good with computers and everything else, I fixed that stuff. And then one of the shift managers or something like that within 10-15 minutes walked over and asked me what I was doing, and saw that I fixed everything, and then went upstairs and brought some Chinese or Japanese people, Asian people, and some of them could speak English, some of them couldn't, and they're like, show them what you did. And I did that, and then that became my section, and I actually built up really, really well. That place ended up closing and going to China, and they did that because they were waiting too long when they get motherboards, and it was being held up in customs. So they wanted to go exactly where it was being manufactured at, which was China. I was actually offered a job to go there as well, and they pay stuff, but I'm an American. I shouldn't have to leave this country to get a job, and especially in a place that I don't particularly want to go at. I don't speak Chinese. I do like Chinese food. I do like pho. I do like them as a culture, but I shouldn't have to leave this country when I'm an American. And I was young at that time as well, but they would have loved for me to do it. And I also thought, what if things don't work out when I go out there? Then I could be stranded. How the hell do I get back to my country? You know what I mean? And then of course, I've already done a video on this. My very first job at the age of 18 was a dishwasher, and I worked at an Italian restaurant, and I talk about all these stories where my friend Bald Spot got me the job, and all the wild things that we did, and then I talk more about him. Speaking about jobs, I guess I should have said this in the beginning. I did have a job interview today. I do want to make a special video tomorrow if everything works out well. Make a special video tomorrow and talk about that, and talk about some other updates that I'm sure that you guys are curious about. However, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, if you could do me a favor, check out the other videos and subscribe. And then for everybody who's been rocking with me, catch up on videos as well. And I want to thank you guys so much.